Because it sounds cool. Doesn't have any deeper meaning beyond creativity, basically. We're going to start with Ken on this one.
You know what? I've been a musician since I was a little kid, but it was probably when I got out of college. That's when I decided to switch gears and pick up a bass, and I discovered a band called Testament, and been doing it ever since.
Shoot, I've been doing it since, probably grade school. I started out, my stepfather had a trumpet. I did that for a little bit, like a matter of months, and didn't care for walking to class with my lips puckered up like a fish. And I saw the other kids over there beating on the little drum pads with sticks, and I'm like, I want to play drums. Got my first drum set from my uncle probably before middle school, and then by the time I was in high school, I wasn't playing in music class in school anymore. I was just getting home after school, closing and locking my door, putting on the record album, setting up my drum kit, and trying to get good at playing drums on my own. And started bumping elbows with other people, other musicians, you know, garages and people's basements, and you got a guitar, I got drums, and from there, just here I am, you know. It's like, it's been a pursuit of dedication and just my heart's passion, and more drums being stored at my house that I can take here and there and put in my little car, till now I got a bigger car.
For myself, I mean, I've always had a natural love for music, like most music lovers do, I suppose. But I guess what planted the imagery and direction in my head would have to be good old Headbangers Ball back in the 80s. You know, as a kid, you know, we didn't have access to MTV at my household, so my brother would bring home VHS tapes recorded of many episodes of, you know, metal videos or whatever was out at the time from Headbangers Ball, and would wake me up late at night to bring me out there to watch it. He'd make me, you know, audio cassette tapes to listen to. Then I just, you know, fell in love with that idea, and just, it was, I don't know, something about it, you know, the videos, the music, it just really, it bit me once I heard metal for the first time, and especially once I heard Metallica's Master of Puppets, you know, and a few years later after that, it just really sparked that fire in there, I guess, you know, kind of, and just that passion. It just seemed natural, you know, so that's kind of where the idea came from for me. It's just kind of been there ever since. Well, considering there's so many strains of the metal genre, you kind of can't stick any one type on it, really, you know. It's kind of a combination of, I just call it heavy metal. It's evolving in itself too, so it makes it even more complicated to pinpoint a certain exact genre.
I mean, it has that melodic elements like Ingve. It's got some progressive elements to it because we're daring to kind of push the envelope of classic stereotypical metal to like bring in more keyboards again and things to where people are like, oh, that's not metal, but yet it still has that metal premise. Newest tracks that we have almost completed, but we haven't really shared too much about it. Titus and I just kind of started with ideas that he had going, and I started putting some drum stuff to it. Next thing you know, we started getting excited about it, and neither one of us could sleep at night and wanted to like get this thing completed. Just kind of how things happen at times, you know. So
I'd say it's like a melodic, power metal, progressive, dark kind of vibe to it, you know. So rearrange that so it flows a little smoother, and I suppose it'd be in there somewhere. What was happening now as we're working on this next album is actually more of a more focused direction, and rolling with ideas that just pop out. Sometimes you're writing one thing and a cool idea comes out, which is how the song he's talking about developed. It's kind of a focused vibe and feel of a direction we want to go, and it's got to kind of fit into these descriptive words of a sound we want to accommodate and deliver in the end with this one.
Like Titus says, it's having the focus of a direction and a particular essence of sound that it needs to have, because trying to embody what this next album is going to be, and even then can't quite define it just yet, but we know what's going into it, and we can say what's not going into it, you know, at that point. So,
and not to, you know, minimize the use of the word, or, you know, or generalize it, but, you know, we definitely want it to be an epic sound. You know, we want it to be, when you feel it, you know, in a big crowd when it's being played, it should feel epic. And so all of the things are ultimately leading to that in the end.